All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One question that has been pondering on my mind is, especially when you're talking about digitally enabled farmers, are they able to use those platforms to be able to reach their customers and also to sell their produce? I'm right here in the studio and I have my lemons that have been delivered here to me. And I'm confident that this is a platform that needs a very heavy discussion, especially when we're talking about farmers and their produce and also their customers. How well are they able to just have that visibility and reach their clients? I am definitely a very proud and glad customer of having used the online platform to get my lovely lemons here at the studio. So we want to get into this discussion, and I know that is only Harry, chairman and publisher at CIO Africa, who can be able to delve into this, and I'm confident that he has a lovely panel that can be able to get into this discussion. So as you sit back and relax and work from home, you can be able to enjoy this kind of comfort. Thank you, and over to you, Harry, as you take over the discussion. Asante.
Thank you, Ian. Again, energy for 20 people, but this time with a plate of lemons, which he ordered online. That's his story. I don't know how true it is, but that's his story. Yeah. So anyway, so we have an interesting topic about the digital farmer. We believe that technology can really enable the farmer to have the best yield and therefore creates food security in our continent. And to discuss this and just the impact of technology within the agricultural sector, I have a noble, solid panel of people who are ground, as they say, on the ground, people who are doing stuff within the agricultural sector. And these are the guys I'm gonna bring on board and have a discussion with them so that we can try and figure out how farmers are using tech or how tech can be used by farmers to increase our yield and therefore productivity. So bring my panelists, please, so that we can introduce them to the audience. There they are. So thank you, guys. Hey, John. Hey, Evans. Hey, Imelda. How are you guys doing?
We're good. I'm good.
Awesome.
Hi,
awesome.
Harry.
Hi. Please, Imelda, just introduce yourself and who you work for and your interest in agriculture and tech.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope we are enjoying the first session of this forum. My name is Imelda Ngunzu. I work for MasterCard within what we call strategic growth. This is a global team that looks after digitizing ecosystems within the bottom of pyramid, of course, with very big interest in agriculture as one of the main sectors that feed most of our economies in emerging markets. I'm the market development lead for Kenya, looking after some of our partners and trying to figure out how we map the products that we innovate around this sector and scale them to make sense to the end user, in this case, the smallholder farmer. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And we are happy to have you on board as well. And by the way, congratulations on your award. I know you won an award last year. You can tell people what you did, but later. Okay, thank you, and congratulations on that.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah. John, just quick introduction. I know you're somewhere out in a different county, somewhere far away from here. Tell us about what you do and your interest in agriculture and tech. We can't hear you. I think you're muted, John.
Sorry, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Excellent. So my name is John Muthe. I'm the founder and managing director of what is primarily a market research company. We basically are tracking what farmers are buying as inputs, agriculture inputs for their business. We look at farmers as business people, and therefore it is important to be able to see what is it that they use as agriculture input for their production, as it were. So we do this through a national panel in Kenya, where we're working with agro dealers on a monthly basis we collect information as to what did the farmers actually buy. We put it together, and we're basically being able to get insights around the decisions that the farmers are making. So we're not necessarily linked directly with the farmer, but we do now know what are the decisions they're making around their inputs. So it is actually for us a different sector, because most of the time we find that there's a lot more focus around the farmer, but not where they're buying their inputs from. We think this is important because agro-dealers are an important source of information. So yeah, very happy to be here. And obviously for us, technology is a critical component in what we do. And we'd be happy to talk through about that later.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Evans?
Hi, how are you? My name is Evans. I'm the founder of Kilimo Guru Limited. This is a startup enterprise that works with small-scale farmers in Kenya to help them maximize their farm yields through soil testing, farm monitoring, analytics, and also giving them agricultural insights. This is something that I really wanted to do from an early age. Having folks who are farmers and growing up in a village, and you go back home and their story paints the same picture. They're not able to maximize their production. They don't have higher income, and they feel like power has been taken away from them, maybe by middlemen, and back going all the way to the end consumers. So through our company, we are working with also providers of farm inputs, because a large aspect of farm monitoring and soil testing, you find most farmers want to know where they can find their farm inputs. And so to add on what John was saying, is just to make sure that they are getting farm inputs from a reliable provider, and giving them agricultural insights to be able to make decisions on where to sell and how to plant their crops and all that, basically saving cost and maximizing profits. So we are working with a couple of farmers in 7 counties, precisely over 1,500 to date. And apart from that, I also mentor SMEs and come up with projects that seek to create resilient businesses and create employment, especially in the agricultural sector during this period amidst the pandemic. Looking forward to the conversation and sharing more in the session.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Evans, for that. And you know, it's always gratifying to find people that are so deeply entrenched into the community that they serve. So working with the farmers at that level is really amazing and interesting. In fact, I'm coming back to you, Evans, and just try and make us understand what is driving the emergence of the digital farmer. Why are farmers looking for digital solutions?
Yeah. So we have, I think, a couple of issues that are driving emergence of the digital farmer. Last year, we had the COP 2026 summit, which was focusing on the effects of climate change. We have also the United Nations, which is it gives like a statistics on how the world is growing, and so as a result of this, we have less arable land for farming and cultivation. We also have large fluctuations in commodity markets. And I think a good example to give is just recently when we had that KFC, they were not taking potatoes from Kenya. And this is because I think there's need for traceability from the farmers, from the producers, all the way to the consumers. And so these are societal demands for agriculture to become more environmentally sustainable. And there's also an increase in demand for sufficient food and farmers, consumers want to be able to know that the products that they're consuming are okay. And so all these factors are things that are making or driving the emergence of the digital farmer to be able to use the easiest way to produce a huge impact. And so a huge part of it is also dependent on sustainable production, which will be achieved not only managing the economic factors, but also focusing on things such as soil fertility, soil erosion, how to land use, and crop protection. So all these issues, we've seen a lot of startups coming up with the technologies to be able to measure all these conditions and all these wealth. We have a new wealth of data for farmers so that they can be able to achieve all this. And as you see, most of the marketing that is happening is that you find a farmer who is using this technology, and you'd also want to adopt it because it's bringing income for them. So all these factors are driving the digital farmer.
Okay.
If you're not using technology right now, technology will use you in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imelda, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yes, I think he makes a very good point in that there is emergence of the digitally enabled solutions that farmers can take advantage of, and we've seen quite a trend where now farmers are aware that there is this and there's this, and I guess it's because there's a lot of companies now, both startup, private sector, and even big payments organizations that are really putting out their innovations to help the smallholder farmer or even the commercial farmer take advantage of technology. So we cannot we see this, and every time we go to the villages to speak to the farming communities, they'll tell you that, oh, I was an agent in this technology that was innovated by this company. So there's a lot of that, especially in the input and the output marketplace. So farmers are aware now that they can access input services digitally. They are aware that they can actually push out their produces to the output marketplace digitally. So this is helping a lot. But also I think there is also the awareness or the interest for the smallholder farmer to move from just subsistence to commercial farming. And this can be given credit also to policymakers, where a lot has been done, especially in the Kenyan context, to say, why are we just, farming as a hobby? And I know, Harry, we talk a lot about, the WhatsApp farmer. These things are real. They may look little, but they have a really big impact on how that messaging and that perception is being pushed even to what we call the digital illiterate farmers. So there's those two things that I can talk about that I've seen. And farmers are starting to ask, okay, so if I want to actually produce a little bit more so that I sell a bit and I keep a little bit for my family to eat, what do I need to do? What input services do I need to access? What companies do I need to work with? Do I need credit? And then this all forms this opportunity for players in the market to, to start developing solutions in the digital arena to solve for such emerging opportunities.
Okay, interesting take there. John, what does your research tell you?
Yes. Maybe just to re-emphasize the point that I think we did have at some time ago people called extension officers, and they were critical in terms of advising, and that role has not been replaced, and I think technology is fitting right there to be able to help the farmers really access information. And I think that's really is the sort of like main driver for the farmers to actually adopt, because therefore what else do you have as an alternative?
Very interesting. So basically the extension officer that was a very, very powerful person within the villages has sort of been replaced by technology. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So looking at still at the farmer level, And maybe even this might be your question more than John or Imelda, but Imelda, I know you can respond to this, is what technologies are you seeing on the ground that are enabling these digital farmers? What are the technologies? What are we seeing? Are you seeing, for instance, metaverse?
Yeah. So the thing is, I think in Kenya we have farmers. So farmers, the agricultural market is highly fragmented. We've seen like 80% of our production is from small scale farmers, and so in more commercial farmers. And part of these, most of these startups on the ground, you'll find they're using remote sensors to be able to capture data from the farmers, be it in terms of their soil parameters. There are so many of them, but now remote sensors, satellites. I've not yet seen things like drones in Kenya, but with remote sensors, we can be able to monitor the plant health, soil conditions, temperatures, nitrogen, and all these factors in 24/7. And we have also seen artificial intelligence tools which give an overwhelming amount of data to be able to analyze it at higher speeds and funnel it back to the farmer in form of useful insights. And this is what we do, being able to analyze this data and giving it back to the farmer in a way that they can be able to understand and take corrective action to maximize their produce. So for farmers, that's technology that I've been able to see on the ground, basically devices communicating with each other to help the farmer understand their conditions more better. Also, something else is to be able to give the farmer a historical record of their farm. And we have dashboards where a farmer can see their previous trends, sales, and all that. And because of this, they can be able to also look ahead. So they have insight and they can be able to foresee the amount of produce they are going to see. Also, I think something else that I've been able to see is farmers using these platforms to be able to quantify demand. So some farmers will be able to tell you, I will be having this amount of produce and I will be selling it somewhere because there's already some I think there's a shift in technology on where farmers can be able to sell their products. So that's for producers. I think largely for consumers, it's IoT devices and to be able to track supply chain and trace the products back to the farm.
Imelda, from a like global or Africa level, do you see the same things?
Yeah. I think we have a long way to go to get to the metaverse, but we'll make use of what we have now. If you think about, I think like Evans is saying, Kenya tends to be a little bit ahead in terms of the tech that's built and adopted, especially in the farming communities. But if you cross your way to Tanzania and Uganda, you start to get some I won't call them weird challenges, but some specific challenges like lack of identity, right? And we want to talk about a platform, for example, the tech that Evans is talking about, IoT, and we've seen emergence of AVR solutions that are very intelligent and can actually translate content as an extension service to local languages, right? But then how do you identify that the farmers that you're trying to target are the right farmers? So because of lack of some of these tools, like we have in Kenya, we have a very robust ID system, then you have to try and think through how does that work exactly on the context of a country like Uganda that doesn't have an established ID system. So you start to think about digital identity, some solutions we've seen that can identify the farmer and keep a record of their hashed, biometric sensor in a data privacy and responsible way. So there's a lot of these things that are happening. The thing is, and the biggest challenge is to the likes of Evans as we build tech is how do we utilize the use cases that we're building? So we build tech to solve a particular use case. how do we then look at these use cases and the tech that we've built to merge them in some sort of crowdsourcing of services that the farmer can access and get all the services at once. So I took that as a build up to the IoT and tech and the extension challenge that also John has thrown to us, to say we are very fragmented also in the way we're building the tech, solving particular use cases, but there's an opportunity for us to also look at crowding all this tech together in some sort of a platform that can give a better value to the farmer.
Interesting. Yeah, the identity thing is it's always a problem when when you're dealing with especially large communities where you have to deliver a certain service, and you need to monitor and know what has gone where. I was being told some time back that the reason why we have vaccinations. So like, I don't know if you guys remember, there's always that vaccination week where the government just decides they're vaccinating every kid with BCG. The reason why they were doing that is because they didn't know who has been vaccinated and who has not been vaccinated. So that ID, so just so that we don't miss anyone, let's just vaccinate everyone. So yeah.
And Harry, the thing is, then it plays into the context of the culture and the behavioral functionality of the farmers as part of a larger community. So we talk about this and we say you identify the farmer and you try to solve for them, but you also must remember that they also play a role in the community in other ways, like they're a patient. They are also a father or a parent to a teacher going to school. So even as we look at those challenges and say, should we vaccinate everybody? You have also to think about then how are you solving the other problems that go beyond the farm for these farmers? So then you can also attract them to the digital behavior or way of life. So it's a larger conversation that goes beyond the farm.
I agree. We can discuss this the whole day. I know. John, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, well, I think one of the challenges is around products. Based on our statistics, the farmers actually have over 18,000 SKUs that they can choose from over the last 1.5 years. That's what we've tracked in the Kenyan market. So it's a lot of information, and what sort of information do they have to actually select the products that they're using? So yeah, sorry to throw in sandbag you a little bit more on that particular.
That's a big number, and yeah, you can be lost in the maze of the different SKUs. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
You say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so. One of the things that people have been talking about, and please, producer, if there are any questions, please send them to me so that from the audience, so that if we can ask the panelists, because we have only 5 minutes to go. So one of the things that has been happening is, the pandemic. I think the pandemic is still with us, but I don't know. I'm confused about this, but. A lot of people were saying technology, digital services really transformed sectors. Do you think the pandemic also sort of catalyzed the transformation of the agricultural sector? Maybe we can start with you, John.
I think one of the things that was really unique, so yeah, well, the pandemic is still with us, but I think what we're having is, the lockdowns are not with us. But I think looking back at 2020, one of the key things around agriculture in Kenya was really the good rainfall pattern that was there at that particular period of time. And that really catalyzed agriculture. In addition to that, what we saw was there was a lot of movement around people working from home and people who are spending more time within the rural areas, who actually now, as it were, on the ground, and basically they tended to have more digital exposure. I think the I would be able to say yes, it actually did, but I think what we had was a slightly newer farmer who came into the market. But when these new guys left, went back to the urban areas or to their usual work areas, I think, you still have the same farmer who remained behind. And I think for me, I think there's been, I would probably say it wasn't the event, but I would say within the technology space, there is more of a gradual uptake around the uptake of solutions that the digital technology is actually offering them. So that's how I see it. I don't think it was, I think we have to look at it from the scope of, like the people who engage in farming throughout, not the usual. I went in and I stayed there for 9 months, and I had, all this time, and I spent some time looking after the farm, and the output was good. Fair enough. But if we compare 2020 second half of the year and 2021 second half of the year, in terms of investment of agriculture input, there was a drop of about 5 billion Kenya shillings. And that's really was driven because of a difference in terms of rainfall patterns. So I think the way I would see technology in terms of this is more of more of a gradual awareness, and that awareness is it actually translating into use. I think we will be able to see, as Ivan says, once we start seeing farmers taking control on the marketing of their products and actually demanding a lot of some of these issues. Yeah, so that's my feedback, Harry.
Okay, thank you. Very well put there. So what I'm going to do now is, Imelda, you can respond to this, but as you're doing that, also make your concluding remarks, because the director is screaming in my ear that I need to get out of the studio. So Imelda.
Yeah, I think to add on to what John has said is also the need for service providers across both sectors, the government, the private sector, and also the NGOs, trying to find a way to reach the smallholder farmer digitally. I think this has been a catalyst during the pandemic, because the government is thinking we can't have our extension officers or agriculture officers traveling every so often to the communities, but we still need to provide services to these farmers. The same way as input providers, so there has been that push of what do we do more technologically to serve the farmers, and so innovate around, mass market solutions that can help deliver these services. So I think that has been a catalyst. We've seen, especially in our sector, a lot of development organizations reaching out to us to say, we have this program in Kigali that we've been running pretty much manually. Do you have tech that can help us do this better? So I think there has been an increase uptake, both push from service providers and also farmers demanding for these services digitally. In my closing remarks, Harry, I think what I would like to say is there's a lot of tech being built, and John has alluded to the many number, the big number he's given us. The thing is, how do we work together as players to provide better service and taking advantage of economies of scale? So I don't go and build tech that Evans has already built. So there's a lot of fragmentation in the innovation side of things, especially in ag, and it's not easy to touch the smallholder farmer. They provide around 80% of the food we eat globally, but then they are not high consuming in terms of the money they can spend. So how do we make commercially sustainable solutions that are not pushing down on their margins that they barely have, but then still provide them service? And my answer has always been collaboration and partnership. So I think we need to partner more, we need to collaborate more, and eventually it's not a short road to digitizing the farmer. It's long and tiring, but we'll get there.
Okay. Evans, you've got 30 seconds.
Thank you. I think there's a lot of things that are happening in the agricultural sector and digital transformation. And one key thing, as Imelda said and John, is that agriculture, when COVID hit, it was the only, one of the few sectors that recorded a growth in the economy, and it cushioned even Kenya's economy from slumping deeper. And we need more collaboration because most I think from my experience and is that most farmers are doing farming maybe as an activity. Most small scale farmers, it's not something that they've seen as a business. And adopting technology, we have to accept that technology is ahead of the farmer. So we need to create more awareness so that farmers can be able now to take up this technology and so that they can see the benefit of it. So you need to sit down with a farmer, help them see that this is an investment you're making, and these are the returns that you will get. And all these metrics and data will play a key and huge role in making that transformation.
Excellent, excellent. John, your closing remarks in 30 seconds?
Okay. Well, I think like it's been said, I think the big challenge that we have is what stories are we telling around the digital transformation in ag space, and how are we telling those stories? And I think that's what we really need to be able to do, is to track the use as well as the outputs and give positive stories so that there is encouragement. We all know that word of mouth is actually the strongest influencer, especially in the villages. And so we really need to find a way of making sure that that communication happens, and so that we can actually be able to make sure that the positive impact that this technology would deliver actually gets to the farmer.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, guys. You've been awesome. You've been amazing. A lot of insights there for our attendees. And I think there's a lot of take home there, which I'm not going to try and summarize because I haven't been able to write. But thank you so much. And we really appreciate your time. So thank you very, very much. Back to our audience, that you have it. Agriculture tech is going into agriculture. You know, this is one of those industries that or sectors that, you know, we sort of don't think much when we're thinking tech, but tech, I think, is going to have a big impact in the agricultural sector. And as you heard from the experts, this is happening. So let's see what solutions we can bring down to the farmer, and let's help them use technology in a sustainable and profitable way. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day.